How's it going, guys? My name is LongBarrel, and as many of you guys know, I went traveling to Europe for about a month. Now, unfortunately, being gone from CSGO for a month means you're going to be quite rusty when you get back to playing. The thing is, in my case, I've not only been gone from CSGO, but I've been completely absent from using my mouse, looking at a monitor, and sitting in a chair for hours at a time. This meant that literally everything in my body needed to get used to playing games again. To make matters worse, the moment I got back, I started to practice for ESCA Open Playoffs, with our first match being played on literally the third day after I got back. So this got me thinking, how can I get back into shape in the shortest time possible? So I developed a sort of a training routine which is designed to hit all the key mechanics that your body got unused to during your time away. So now that for my team the playoffs have ended and we went 2-1 in matches, by the way, I can finally get to work and share this routine with you guys. The first thing you'll probably do when you get back onto CSGO is hop into a free-for-all deathmatch server just to see where you're at skill-wise. Now, depending on how much time you've been away from your computer, you'll notice that it's pretty hard for your eyes to keep up with all this movement on the screen. You'll also notice that your tracking is off, your aim isn't as snappy anymore, your spray control is out of whack, and your movement is just not as smooth as it used to be. The thing is, if you're able to identify what mechanics have deteriorated over the time of your absence, it means you know exactly what you need to work on to get your skill back to where it was. In this routine, we will start off with a 10-minute deathmatch session. All you're going to be doing is gauging where you're at and what needs work. Within this 10-minute session, you will gauge how well you're tracking people on your screen. How well can your crosshair keep up with the movement of your target? You also want to gauge how snappy your aim is. How well you can lock onto heads and angles while you're playing. You also want to see where your spray control is at. Are you accurate with your recoil control, and at what distance do you struggle the most? Finally, keep an eye on your movement. You want to rate yourself on how smooth you feel while strafing, sidestepping, etc. So for each thing, I made an exercise on various maps that will hit each problem area and hopefully get your skills back to where they used to be. So after you're done DMing, we're going to hop into our first exercise, which will focus on your target tracking. Alright, so for this exercise, we will load up the map Fast Aim / Reflex Training. In the video description, you want to click on the map 1 link to get it. So once you loaded the map, you want to join the CT side, and in console, you want to type the following commands: God and MP Free Armor 2. These commands will make you invincible and give the bots head armor. So the rest is quite simple. You just want to practice shooting the moving bots and do your best to stay as accurate as possible and not let too many bots pass. So really focus on staying accurate with your crosshair while tracking the bots' movements. So this exercise is amazing because you're constantly swiping with your mouse, which not only helps with tracking your targets, but also helps wake up your muscle memory. So you'll notice just after a few minutes, your forearm will begin to burn a bit, which is perfect. Remember to stop and stretch your hand from time to time to avoid potential injuries. So you want to do this exercise for at least 200 kills, or at least until you start feeling really good about your tracking and aim. Once you're consistent in killing the boss and you feel like it's time to move on, we can hop into the next exercise to work on the snappiness of your aim. For this exercise, we're going back to the classic map Training Aim CSGO 2. To get this map, click on the map 2 link in the video description. So once in, select the AK-47 from the weapons box, and you want to turn your attention to the settings control panel. Now, this may all seem confusing, but we're only going to focus on 3 settings. You want to set the amount to 100, the delay to 0.25, and the static target duration to 0.50. In front of you, shoot on level 2 and then the start button to begin the training. So the red dots will pop up on the screen one at a time, and your job is to shoot them before they disappear. After 100 dots have been up, the exercise will end and you'll be able to see what percentage you got. With each try, you obviously want to aim for a higher percentage. You want to keep practicing to work on the snappiness of your aim. If you want to spice up this exercise, consider making the target size smaller or drop the delay to 0.0 for some real fun stuff. You can make some really cool combinations to create some really cool training exercise, so I'd really recommend you having fun with it and just trying out a bunch of stuff. I'd say spend at least 20 minutes on this map, put on some music, try to get a high score with each try. This exercise is more challenging, but definitely more rewarding. Once you feel like you've had enough, it's time to move on and revive our spray control. For the spray control segment, we will load up the map Recoil Master. To get the map, click on map number 3 in the video description. Recoil Master is my favorite map to practice spray control because of all the available options and controls. You can really go in depth with your spray control to see where and how you're struggling while controlling your recoil. If you're not so familiar with controlling recoil, I highly recommend you watch my tutorial on how not to suck at spray control, which will be in a card in the top right hand corner right now. I really go into some serious depth of learning and perfecting the spray patterns, so I really recommend you checking it out. But if you just need a quick refresh, then just follow my lead. right now. In Recoil Master, go ahead and walk to the center and make sure you turn on T-Target. Having T-Target on will display how many shots you're hitting and where. The choice to leave Ghost Hair enabled is up to you, but I personally keep it off. So once you're set up, begin spraying the target and focus on controlling your spray. After 30 bullets, the chat will display how many shots you hit and in which areas of the target. You probably want to maintain somewhere above 80%. You can actually further challenge yourself by moving the target back, adding more targets, and maybe incorporating spray transferring, maybe crowd shooting, all that good stuff. I'd say spend no less than 50 minutes on this map, because the more you practice your spray control, the more it becomes natural to perform. So once you feel satisfied with your recoil control, we can advance to the last aim exercise to bring everything that we learned so far together. I discovered YPrac Bot Arena not too long ago, and it's actually becoming one of my favorite practice maps. It is very similar to Aimbots, but with just a little bit more features. So of course I linked it in the video description as map number 4 if you guys don't already have it. Once in and the map does this cool flying intro sequence, go ahead and turn your attention to the custom control panel. For the area, make sure the inner circle and the middle circle are selected, and you want to make sure that the bots have Kevlar and helmet. Set the amount of bots to 4, 6, 8, or 10, and the elevation to uneven. For the number of kills, it is up to you, but I usually leave it at 50. Jump in the middle of the platform to spawn the bots, and then shoot one of the bots to begin the exercise. You want to go crazy with this. Bring in all of the components that you've practiced throughout this whole routine. So I want you to really hone in on the accuracy and the snappiness of your aim, and instead of going for a high kills per minute, worry about how precise you are with each shot. Incorporate spray control practice as well. First practicing spraying the bots one by one, and then you want to start doing maybe spray transfers. In the control panel, you can also set the bots to move both predictably and unpredictably, so you can actually kind of play around with that and to work on your tracking and shooting moving targets. There's a bunch of other settings that can make your practice even more complex. You can play around with the headshots only, body shots only. You can open the map so you're shooting it all the way around. You can actually try their preset routines and other modes as well. I really recommend going through all the settings. Just take some time with this map and just have fun with it. This map can be really beneficial to your development. So in total, I recommend spending at least 50 minutes on this map to really bring in everything you've worked on. A fun way to challenge yourself is to see what is the highest KPM you can get while trying to stay accurate, of course. At this point, you should know when you're feeling it and when you still need some time to practice. This is the last exercise for aim practice, so let's quickly talk about movement, and I'll close out this routine with a couple of final tips. I'm actually not going to talk too much about movement, as it's not necessarily the mechanic that needs constant work to make you better, but if your movement is feeling rusty after the time off, there are a few things you can actually do to smoothen it up a bit. So KZ and Surf game modes are probably the best two ways to train your movement. You can find a bunch of these game modes in Browse Community Servers section, so I really recommend you try them out if your movement is feeling a little bit shaky. For me, I personally don't mind hopping on a surf map from time to time and just simply surfing for a while with some music on. B-Hop servers are also quite good. I used to B-Hop back in the day, but I'm more into surfing nowadays, so I'd recommend you trying one of these 3 options out for yourself and just spend some time working on your movement. This routine in total should take you anywhere from 1 hour and 15 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes to fully complete. Now, I totally understand that not everybody has an hour and 30 minutes out of their day to put in just to practice, but I still recommend you do this full routine at least once and then modify it as you wish on the other days. I also really recommend incorporating pistols into your training as well. Play around with some USPs, with some deagle shots. Maybe reserve a quarter of this whole training sessions just simply for pistols. Remember that the more time you take to practice, the faster you'll be up to your regular skill level. Depending on how long you've been away, it shouldn't take you more than a week doing this every day to get back to where you used to be. Don't let the routine stop you here though. If you still feel like some aspects need more work, I would go back and grind them out until you're satisfied. Also, DMing after this routine is not a bad idea, as you will be put to the test against actual people and not just bots. Also, don't be afraid to play in pugs and matchmaking games in between your training. It will actually be very beneficial to you, as you're constantly putting yourself to the test and learning what still needs work and so forth. Overall, just have fun with it, guys. I wish you the best of luck in developing, getting better, and I really hope this routine works for you. And that is going to do it for me for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I really want to apologize for taking so long to upload since I got back from Europe. Unfortunately, I had a lot to take care of before I was ready to start making videos. With that said, I will try my best to get a fresh Road to Global episode out this week. That's pretty much all I want to say. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys follow my Twitter, follow my Instagram, and of course follow my Twitch as well. All the links will be down in the description. My name is LongBarrel. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and remember, be water, my friends.